Why is there a mass exodus of people leaving Portland, Oregon for Vancouver, Washington? In today's video, we're going to go over the statistics of what is causing people to move north over the Columbia River. In case you're new here, I'm Tim Jackson. I'm a real estate agent licensed in Oregon and Washington. I've lived in both Vancouver and Portland, so I can also share real lived experiences of what both places are like. And I'll also share what I see as the reasons that people are finding safer pastures. Stay tuned to the end because the last reason that people are moving is actually really gonna surprise you. Let's get going. So to start out, we've got to go back a decade because Vancouver, Washington has grown over 18% over the last 10 years, whereas Portland has only grown 11%. Now, that's not too surprising given that their populations started out at a much different level, but what is surprising is that over the last couple years, the growth has only accelerated. What the numbers show is that Vancouver has substantially grown by over 20,000 people per year just in the last couple years, whereas Portland's population has shrank 1 or 2% and is now coming back up to kind of a steady flat even. And the major push for people moving to Vancouver over recent years was kind of what you would say a quality of living for what you get. A lot of people were moving to Vancouver because homes were generally cheaper. Now, homes in Vancouver have passed on average that $500,000 threshold, whereas Portland's home prices have generally been coming down from that $550,000 average. So Vancouver and Portland have actually met somewhere in the middle, but people are still flocking to Vancouver regardless because they're seeing the quality of living pay off a lot better. And another thing to note is that on average, a Vancouver home is bigger than a Portland home, about 15% bigger. And I mean, another large reason that people are flocking to Vancouver is that they have no state income tax, so it makes all the sense in the world. Trust me, if you work in Vancouver, you should definitely live in Vancouver. And Vancouver's been adding a ton of jobs, almost taking from the Portland market pool and opening up a ton of new commercial sites where jobs are just completely flourishing. Now, I will say that Portland or Oregon in general is famous for having one of only 2 states to not have a sales tax, and that is huge. And look, I've had tons of tax advisors tell me not to encourage this or advise it, but people are going to do it anyways. So I don't know, sue me. People do this regardless. They will pay the no state income tax in Vancouver, and then they'll drive down to Oregon to skip out on the sales tax. Now, in all reality, I also have a ton of clients that move up to Vancouver, and they are just as happy to go do their grocery shopping and all of that stuff in Vancouver and stay put. No need to go over the bridge to save a small little discount in your taxes. Now, surely all this hubbub couldn't be made just over some taxes. I mean, there's got to be a lot more to it, right? Taxes can tend to add up, and property taxes, by and large, in Clark County versus especially the main county, Multnomah County and Portland, definitely are a lot cheaper. Now, that's not to say that you can't find cheaper property taxes in other counties like Clackamas County and Washington County, which are suburbs south and west of Portland. But if you're moving to the main area of Vancouver, which is Clark County, you are going to get a significant discount in property taxes. We're talking about, on the average home prices, if you're up in Clark County, a $500,000 home, you're typically going to spend about $3,000 to $4,000 a year on your property taxes. And in Portland, expect that tax bill to be a lot closer to $5,000 a year. And who am I kidding? When Vancouver is a place where people are paying a lot more attention to their monthly bill, I mean, let's just face it, that a lot of people that are moving to Portland for the bar dive culture or just for kind of the walkability, they're not really focusing on what their itemized bill is. I can guarantee you that I've had a lot more clients that are accountants or people that are really digging into the numbers that will focus on Vancouver as their primary search area. And it also shows in things like your monthly utility bill and your restaurants. And it even affects things like the service industry, where your restaurant bill might be a little bit cheaper in Vancouver. For example, if you go out to a restaurant in Vancouver versus Portland, you can expect to pay 38% less. Now, is there a quality difference? I mean, Portland is the culinary capital of the nation, some would say. Some would even say it's an icon throughout the world. You know, to be debated in the comments. Electricity is electricity, water is water. I shouldn't just say that, because Portland's Bull Run drinking water is infamous for being straight from the mountain. And admittedly, Vancouver does have chemicals in their tap water, so you need a filter on it. But that's just to say that their utilities do differ, where Vancouver spends 35% less on their public utilities than Portland. So you are paying a little bit more for the Portland drinking water. Do I think it's worth it? I mean, honestly, I really love the Portland drinking water in comparison, but that is a huge difference to pay. And I mean, just think about this. Portland and Vancouver combined are, let's just say, I think the data said 30% higher than the nation. And then if you take that, Portland is 30% higher in cost overall than Vancouver. So you're already kind of living in an expensive area. Some would argue, well, then it would make a lot of sense to limit how much you're spending, and others would say, what the heck, if I'm already gonna pay to live in a beautiful area, live in the main area. I mean, hey, let's just say that I know cost of living in our general area is a lot better than Seattle or Los Angeles. But yeah, Vancouver wins the fight once again when it comes to cost of living. So it continues to kind of make the argument or paint the picture of why so many people have fled to Vancouver recently. I mean, we'd be in serious denial if we didn't admit that Vancouver, generally speaking, just has less crime. A lot of people originally moved to Portland for the small city feel. Like, you could go out and do anything, be anyone, and there would be like close to nothing happening because you're just in a small little town. I mean, Portland grew up and became like a small city, and so people are flocking to Vancouver because there's just a lot less crime. It's a quieter place. It's a place that you get a really relaxed atmosphere. And I mean, the crime differences aren't massive. In Portland, you've got about 5,000 crimes for every 100,000. In Vancouver, you've got 4,000 crimes for every 100,000. So, you know, there is a difference, and there is a difference to the feel. Now, I notice a lot of people that are relocating are looking for new construction. I think that while a lot of people moving to Portland in particular are into the historic homes, there's definitely a going trend that if you're moving to Vancouver, you want a newer home. Now, the thing about Vancouver is that they expand a lot quickly and don't quite have the urban growth boundaries packed in like Portland does. So Vancouver's got a lot more new construction happening, especially up to the north in Ridgefield and in pockets like the northeast. If you happen to be watching this video and you're looking to get into a new home, I help people like you all the time. In fact, you know, you can't see names because it's far enough away, but that's my client board where I've got people reaching out all the time, and I'm keeping in touch with them, keeping in contact. I know it's weird to have all the names on a board, but it's how I keep organized when I have so many people calling in. Now, let's talk about the waterfront, because honestly, I mean, every time I hear about Portland's waterfront, it's this is going to happen, this is about to happen, this should happen. I mean, we've got a huge baseball park project that's coming, but when it comes to Vancouver, it's already happened. Vancouver, when you go and walk in downtown Vancouver, there is an amazing downtown scene. It's clean, it's lean, there is just so much to do. And so Vancouver is really putting its money where its mouth is when it comes to not only developing and making new homes, but also developing places to make the people living in the new homes really love to be there. And this has only fueled the exodus from Portland to Vancouver. Now, we already sort of hit on this, but job growth is another reason that people are flocking up to Vancouver. The work from home mandate, which has kind of actually really stayed in place, has really helped people kind of just choose where they live. But not only that, but Vancouver's just created a ton of new work options in both the healthcare, the tech, the financial industry, kind of all over the board. Now, this is one that ties into an earlier statistic. Remember I told you that homes in Vancouver are bigger? Well, when people are working from home, they naturally need more space. And gee, what do you know? People want to work from home and they want to go to a place that's a lot bigger. They can have an office space dedicated to where they're working. And you know, the noise of pets and kids and stuff like that doesn't quite get in the way because they have their own dedicated office space. Vancouver provides that for people looking for a nice work-life balance. Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that a bigger space makes more people want to flock there. And if you think about it, the newer construction as well, like new homes literally have these like internet boxes put in where you can route the internet throughout the home. So you're not dealing with laggy Wi-Fi speeds. You know, you can get on the computer in the morning. All the modern conveniences, whereas in Portland you are dealing with a lot of older homes. So those new homes as well, not only the larger homes, but the newer homes are so good for working from home. Now another reason is that the downtown centers of Vancouver and Portland are only 9.6 miles apart, which without traffic is only 15 minutes. Now, trust me, you do not want to be making that commute with traffic. Those bridges get horrendous. So if you live in Vancouver, generally it's better to stay in Vancouver. But if you're living in Vancouver, you're also not kissing most of Portland goodbye. You still get all of the culture that Portland has while still going to your sleepy little community at night. You know, you don't need to lock your doors quite as often if you're living in a safer, tucked away part of the neighborhood. Now, the last one is negative perception. I'm not gonna cut any corners here. Like, you see it on the news all the time. I'm just the one delivering the message, is that Portland has a very negative perception. Now, I think a lot of that negative perception recently is fairly unjustified. Portland is honestly thriving on its own, but regardless, people have moved to Vancouver to just get away from it all. And the negative press isn't just coming from the White House. I mean, Portland has created its own issues in the homelessness and things that just kind of create a lasting impression that Portland's not a great place to live. And Vancouver's been seen as a great alternative for those reasons. And for me personally, Vancouver is all about raising a young family. Now, I help people move to Vancouver who are retiring or maybe who don't have quite as many kids as I do, but I can tell you that Vancouver's a great place to raise a young family. I mean, we were always leaving our doors unlocked in our newer construction home in the Hazeldale neighborhood. And you know, you had sidewalks, you had tons of walkability, great gyms, huge library for kids to run around in. So Vancouver's just a really lovely green space to live in. I love helping people move to Vancouver, Washington, or all of its suburbs, surrounding areas. You know, I've helped people move to Ridgefield from watching these videos, Camas, which is the 5th safest place in the entire state of Washington, Washougal, you name it. I've helped people move all the way up to where D.B. Cooper went missing up in Ariel. And if you're thinking about making the move up, whether it's a week away, a month away, a year away, I'm here to have a conversation about what it's like for you to move up to our beautiful corner of the Pacific Northwest. Would love to have a conversation right here. You can give me a call, you can give me a text, you can also just shoot me an email, or we can jump on a Zoom call to go over your specific plans, your specific needs. I love helping people just like you move up to our area. It's one of my biggest passions. And if you enjoyed watching this video, definitely subscribe and stay around for next week's video. Watch this video next, and I'll see you next week.